We have multiple Toronto Maple Leafs updates ahead of tomorrow night's big game against the New Jersey Devils. We have updates surrounding McCabe, Max Domi, Bobby McMahon, and more. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, as well as an interesting stat regarding former Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe. So stay tuned for all that. But Darius, before we get into it, a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed. About 80% or 70-80% who are watching are not subscribed. And we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. So if you're a part of that 70 or so percent, hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys for the support. We have a lot to go over today. Big game tomorrow. And obviously coming into this, looking back at the schedule a week ago, we were thinking, hey, coming into this third game, obviously they had a doubleheader Friday, Saturday, yesterday, obviously off today, they're off. They need to win this game tomorrow. They've lost 2 games in a row, really rough, especially the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But I think we're going to have, and reports are saying, there's going to be some reinforcements coming here. So there's a few things to go over. Bobby McMahon is on the IR, is not taking part in practice. McCabe and Domi are both taking part in practice, and Craig Berube says it's a possibility that Max Domi enters the lineup tomorrow against New Jersey. And we'll go over the projected lines that we have, but I just want to start with this. We got reports a few days ago about this, but it's confirmed now that in all likelihood, Max Domi will make his return in tomorrow night's game against the Devils, and they need something. They need some sort of energy. They need something into this lineup because they have not played good against the Capitals or the Pittsburgh Penguins this weekend, and this is a very big game for at least the morale of the team. You can't lose a third straight game.
And a lot of people are questioning, is Max Domi the energy that they need? Because he hasn't had a great season so far this year. That enough, like we know, right? That is happening. He has not had a great season to kick off the season, at least. But he was injured. And I believe that he was injured for quite a while. He was probably playing on a bit of an injury. So I think that there is something to that. And I think that he's going to come back feeling really good, 100%. He's had a lot of time off here. And obviously they've been playing really, really well. So he didn't have to be rushed back or anything like that. So that's great. They afforded him that opportunity to stay out. And it looks like he's going to come back into the lineup tomorrow. And obviously, like Bob McKenzie said on Friday, and we covered it in a video a couple days ago, it seems like the Leafs could be fully healthy by the end of the week. But the fact that Bobby McMahon is not practicing today makes me a little bit worried in that could linger a little bit longer. But in terms of Max Domi, it looks like he's going to check back into the lineup tomorrow. I don't think he should be playing center. I think Fraser Minten has been playing pretty good at center. I would give him a run on that line with Fraser Minten, and we'll get to the lines in a second why I think that. But I think Max Domi can add something to this lineup, a little bit of jam, a little bit of juice that they've been missing, especially if he's feeling 100%. We know what he can do when he's playing well. So, what he brings to the table, if he's 100% right now, I think it could turn things for the Leafs. Because again, like you mentioned, lackluster last 2 games, and they can't follow that up with a third loss. This is a really good team in the New Jersey Devils, coached by, obviously, Sheldon Keefe. So you have to come out hot, and you have to try and win this game.
Yeah, we'll get into some stats regarding Keefe in a moment. But yeah, I mean, Domi needs to do something. You obviously got his jersey. You can see over your right shoulder before the season started, and I think it's a cursed jersey, so hopefully he comes back and plays better. And before we get into the lines here, you can see this. As the offense goes, so do the Maple Leafs this season. And in the wins, they're scoring a ton of goals a game with great goaltending. In the losses, they're scoring less goals with worse goaltending. Now, obviously, this is like kind of obvious is the case a lot of the time, but the actual drastic decrease is a little bit scary because the Leafs, not only in their losses are they not scoring like any goals, less than a 1.5, less than a goal and a half a game. They are also giving up a ton of goals. Again, that's how it kind of works with losses. So these stats are, but like this big discrepancy is not super encouraging if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. They need to find a way to, in games where their offense isn't going well, have their goaltending and defense step up, and vice versa. Of course, when their defense isn't going well, hopefully you can have your offense step up, and hopefully they can start tomorrow. And let's dive into these lines here. So you have Patches, Matthews, Marner, Nyes, Tavares, Nylander, Holmberg, Fraser, Minten, Alex Nylander / Robertson, and then Lawrence, Dewar, and Ryan Reeves here. So Domi is also seemingly, like we've mentioned, going to factor in. McCabe and Marshall Rafai are not going to be playing in all likelihood because, of course, McCabe's still dealing with the injury. Darius, what are your thoughts on the lines here? How they can factor in now Max Domi into these lines, and maybe we'll see Nick Robertson get scratched once again.
So the biggest thing to me in the obviously projected lines, I guess we'll call them heading into tomorrow's game, the practice lines from this morning, is that Matthews and Marner are still together. And I think that, if you looked at the last couple of games where they have been put together after that great third period against the Nashville Predators, it hasn't been good. So I would personally split them up. I don't understand why we keep going back to this, because I don't think, and I said this in a video previously and on a live stream, Marner plays a more mature game. I think both of them, honestly, but Marner more especially plays a more mature game when he's not playing with Auston Matthews. I don't think that they play very responsible together. I don't think that they play heavy together. So I'm not sure why they're playing together. And Pacioretty on that line, I think is fine. Pacioretty has been playing great. Obviously, not the greatest return game for him, but I like that he was asserting himself physically, and that's kind of what he does. And you need a piece like that on each line as well. So I did like that, but I do think it could be Robertson coming out here. It could be Domi slotting into the wing. I wouldn't take Fraser Midden out yet. The way that he's played, he's probably the last Marley to be sent down once everyone's healthy. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe he doesn't even get sent down. He's been playing really well. We'll see how that shakes out and if he continues to take on assignments. And again, tomorrow's a big game. I'm looking to him to see what he can do against the New Jersey Devils. But it is very interesting. The defensive pairings until McCabe comes back. It's a little bit of just playing around with it, I guess. But Myers has been okay. It looks a little bit lost at times in the defensive zone, but it should be pretty interesting. Stolarz does finally get his start in New Jersey. Didn't happen for him. Obviously, where he grew up, it didn't happen for him earlier in the season because Wool got injured to start the year. But interesting storylines going into tomorrow night against back-to-back games, just like earlier in the season against Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how everyone factors in when they come back. But again, I would split up Matthews and Marner.
Yeah, and Domi is getting extra shifts on the second line with Tavares and Alex Nylander. And in the blue line, Riley Myers, Zoe Altana, Benoit Timmons. So they're liking Myers right now. And hopefully, Myers is going to continue to improve. But I also want to see Jake McCabe come back sooner than later because he's also a huge part of this defensive group. And as well as Bobby McMahon because we're talking about it. Pontus Holmberg, I've been talking to some of my friends and people who aren't Leafs fans and who've been watching some of the games, and they have some bad things to say about Pontus Holmberg. So I think it's only a matter of time until Pontus Holmberg, factors out of the lineup as well here. But I want to touch on this quickly, and you mentioned it. We're playing the former coach, Sheldon Keefe, and he's done quietly very well with the New Jersey Devils. They're 18-10-2. They're 5th in the NHL. And the Leafs will travel to New Jersey tomorrow to face their former head coach. And the last time they played, we remember, second game of the season, fresh off of the loss against the Montreal Canadiens, where they won 4-2. So anything you're looking out for, also, it seems like Stolarz is going to get in the net, but that's not confirmed yet. That's just based on these practice lines. And, of course, we'll get to the power play units in a second here. But I just want to get your thoughts on this. He is, Sheldon Keefe. Big, I think it has the Advocate this win for a multitude of reasons, but most importantly, the record.
I think they absolutely have to win this game. It is a must-win game. You're playing your former coach, you're playing a really good team, and you're just coming off 2 back-to-back losses for the first time since earlier this season. So you have to win this game, and I'm looking for the team defense. I think the Leafs have done a really, really good job this year of defending the front of the net, and their goaltenders have cleaned up anything that's come their way other than that. And I think they have to get back to playing their game. They've kind of gotten away from that in the last 2 games, and they have to put their foot on the gas. And you can't blame the refs either. Yes, they have, something to do with it sometimes, but you have to put your foot back on the gas and get back to playing your game. And New Jersey has a high-flying offense. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game, but if they can play their game again, I think that they can beat this team.
Yeah, and power play lines. Marner, Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Nyes, Riley, OEL, Domi, Minton, Pacioretty. Hopefully Pacioretty can get going again following his long absence. He looked solid. The team didn't look great. And again, it wasn't the best return, but ultimately I think that they're going to get that win tomorrow. And again, we'll be live following the game. But let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. They need to split up Marner and Matthews. And if they have another loss tomorrow, I can think of, changes regarding that hopefully coming. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know your thoughts are. See you later.